Hello, my name is Diana Salcida. I'm here at the Antelope Valley College Art Gallery to discuss the showcasings that we have here today from photographer Professor Lee Bergthold. Hi Lee, how are you?
Yes, just fine, fine.
So I have a couple of questions for you. What do you believe is your inspiration for the photos that you take?
Oh, first of all, I've carried a camera since I was a little kid, starting out with a 1902 Kodak camera. Took 1/16 film. That's postcard size. I've carried a camera all through the Marine Corps, through different employment, and different phases of employment. I used to take pictures for contractors, and it just kept going and going and going. And finally, 26 years ago, I was hired by the college to get over here and teach film that goes through a camera. And it didn't take much inspiration to keep me going. I mean, I was just enamored with visuals, or Visionetics, as I term it nowadays. But I could look at sculpting, I could look at crayon, I could look at charcoal, I could look at pencil. And like Georgia O'Keeffe, what great respect I have for a woman that could put down on the canvas a depth of field on canvas. I could no more do that than the man in the moon. So I look at different types of artwork, and it would just keep me going with the camera. What can I do to change from traditional to something that would be just a little bit different, or cutting edge? And so that's what, I guess I'm self-inspired, but there's visuals all around us, and so how could we not be inspired to, in other words, I don't copy anybody, but it's my job to come up with a different technique or a different interest. For the 100 students that I have a week, and I've done this for 26 years, I've got to keep them inspired by what I do. So I go out and I find different things I don't find. I compose my own stuff. And I come back and it just brushes off onto my students.
Well, with that said, do you feel like there's a specific technique that you might have to come up with your photos?
Well, I've got a natural eye. I've known that. I also write, and so it's the same thing. You put together something. My technique is simply a simple, basic, single-lens reflex film camera, a Nikon F2, FG, so on and so forth. But Nikon is my favorite with cameras, but it's a simple, not automatic, it's a simple film camera where I run the film through. I use my students as models doing demos in the classroom. I back the film up, don't take it out of the camera, go maybe 300 or 400 miles away to a different location via field trip and exploration in the backcountry, and I'll shoot that film of the students on top of where I've been in the backcountry, caves, tunnels, and so forth. Put it together, or I back the film up and shoot the field work on top of my students. I might back it up the third time, never knowing what I've got until I process the film.
Oh, wow. That seems like a very unique technique.
That's a challenge. That's my challenge.
Yeah. I could imagine so. And this technique that you've created on your own, is this something that you also teach your students in class?
Well, through attrition, well, not through attrition, but it brushes off on them. Mm-hmm. They see what I do. They see themselves in some of the photos, and they say, wow, I'm going to try that. They have their own basic projects to contend with because they're just starting out. But first thing you know, they're trying different types of things that they've seen me do. And all of a sudden, I just let them go. Try it, see what happens.
Oh, that's amazing. And what would you say is the approximate time that it might take you to create one of your pieces?
Well, believe it or not, it's almost instantaneous because I don't know what I have in the camera. But when I see it, then I've got to know where to cut the film. Like some of these long, expansive pieces in this work, there was no place to cut. So we could insert it in our enlargers. Thus, the big long strips of film I would not cut. And I would have them framed, showing the index lines and showing the different frames. And then I have to go to LA and then have that drum scanned, which means taking that strip of film on a drum and it's scanned. And that's the way you get your print. We have no enlargers here that will do that, or anywhere.
That's amazing. Aside from your camera and from the way that you have them printed, is there any other equipment that you might need to get what you have?
First of all, let me preface the whole thing by saying there is nothing here that's been generated by computer or Photoshop or digital work. It's all film. It's all film. No, all I need is a camera. I need the darkroom. In this case, color. I can process these, well, I can to a point when I teach color tech, but the big pieces have to go to LA to be scanned, drum scanned. But there's no stitching, no tiling, and I would challenge anybody to come in here and say, hey, this is done in the computer. No Photoshop here, all film.
That's really honestly amazing. Well, thank you so much, Lee, for sharing your insight, your knowledge, and your beautiful artwork.
Thank you very much.
This is Diana Salcida with Creative Video Productions. Thank you for watching.